Welcome to the 6th video of my Tomb Raider The Last Revelation Glitchless Any percent speedrun tutorial. This is going to go over the Leaving Alexandria percent region of the game, and this is going to include the levels The Lost Library, then quickly into Hall of Demetrius, and back over to Coastal Ruins to make it to Pharos Temple of Isis, and finally Cleopatra's Palaces. And with that, let's get into our item routing recap of Leaving Alexandria. Okay, so hopping right into the meds, this is where things start to get a little interesting because there's more RNG and we're using more meds. So we plan on picking up a couple large and one small, and we also plan on using one large and potentially up to 4 small. So like I said, there's some RNG here, and in certain places we might get away with one less med or have to use another one, but this is the kind of average expected uses. So looking at the shotgun, nothing really happens with the shotgun shells. We don't use any or anything, but for the explosive crossbow ammo, we do pick up 1 pack, and we actually use around, hopefully, 7 shots. So that's going to be interesting there. Now moving on to the grenades, we use 2 of the normal grenades, and still nothing for the super. And now, believe it or not, we use a lot of flares here, and we actually run dead out at 0 flares by the end. And that will conclude our item routing recap for Leaving Alexandria percent. Alright, with that out of the way, let's head into the Lost Library. So after getting out of the crawl space from Temple of Poseidon, we'll just run forward and we're going to hit this loading screen. And this brings us into the Lost Library. This is actually the longest level in the game, if I'm not mistaken. And so there's a crawl space we want to go into. So after the loading screen, hold up and right and then go and then crouch in. And then you can crawl this way and then turn right so you can get this fast climb down like this. And then from here, we want to turn and then sprint over this way towards this door on the left side, the middle door. And we can open it. Now in here, we actually find these cogwheels spinning around, and we want to get down there pretty fast, and we don't want to take much damage, and the pole is really slow and annoying to go down, so we got a better way. What we want to do after opening the door is to pull a flare, and then sprint, and then stop and turn, and then sprint down to the left of the pole, and press grab quick to fake grab down to this level. Going down the left side is better because you'll avoid more damage from the spinning blades below. So we take a little bit there, but then you can do a safety drop like this and you'll avoid the rest, and you take minimal damage. Then you can sprint all the way around here and then pull up here. And then we can turn and do a running jump and sprint to grab this star. This will spawn one of these library dudes, and you just want to try not to get hit, but usually he does. You can't really avoid it. So then you want to jump over to the side here and climb up this ladder. Just watch out, grabbing those star things breaks your action, so you might try and jump on the ladder and you might mess it up, so watch that. Once you're up here, you want to do a running jump over to here and then pull a flare, and then sprint down, fake grab into this hole and flare cancel, and then sprint all the way over here and sprint to this ladder here. So I'll sprint and then sprint over to here and hit this ledge, so I stop sprinting so I can come and approach this ladder straight on like this so I can grab it safely. So when we grab the ladder, we're just going to want to do some safety grabs down and land on the bottom like this and roll. Then we want to sprint forward. There's a crawl space, and so it's a perfect distance for us to just sprint forward, then duck as soon as we start sprinting, and then we'll dive under it like this. For this part, I usually like to be about in the middle of the ladder. We'll see maybe why in a second. It's not required though. So about middle, and then sprint, press duck as soon as you can, and then hold forward, and she'll crouch up and get out of the crawl space. Now here we have an interesting thing. This is the horse dude in library, so if I step on this tile right out here, outside of the little entrance here to the room, it's going to spawn this dude. This is kind of like a mini boss battle, whatever you want to call it, and he climbs up onto the horse, and then he'll fight us from the horse. We have to do a ton of damage for him to eventually get off the horse. And it takes a while. It's really annoying. And we actually have a way to skip this. Very clever, cool trick. So how do we avoid him getting on the horse? You could probably see when I activate him on the tile, he kind of spawns right here above Lara's head. So in between these two pillars in the corner here, he kind of spawns right in between them in the middle. Right there above Lara's head. And so we can actually pull out the grenade launcher, and then we can shoot a grenade right towards where he spawns. And as we shoot it, then press forward and hit the trigger tile for a spawn. And that will blow him up. This is a very, very nice trick, and the grenade actually does damage even though it's during this cutscene, and it's enough damage for him to not get on his horse. And then we just have an easy, normal fight. We can put the grenade launcher away, and then just shoot him with pistols, like this. So there's actually a couple ways you can do this. You can do it like the way I just showed, where you just precisely shoot it right where he spawns. It's got some leeway to it because the grenade's got a decent hitbox and whatnot. But there's a different way that I've learned to do it, which I think is more lenient. I figured it out when trying to practice for the run, and you can actually shoot it at this ledge over here. And because of the angle at the ledge and where we're shooting it at, it almost always bounces off the ledge and then heads over to the dude that spawns. We can see that like right here. So you can see because of the angle of that ledge, it bounced off and ricocheted and headed over right in front of him. So at almost any place, if you hit that ledge with the grenade, it's going to get a good angle that bounces off and goes towards him. I found it to be more lenient than just shooting straight at him, and so I've preferred to do that in runs. To do it fast in runs, I usually, after getting up, I grab the grenade launcher and then just aim and shoot and go forward, and it's that easy. So now what if you fail? What if you go and you go pull out the grenade launcher and you either don't shoot or you miss and you mess it up? And yeah, that time I didn't miss. I pressed forward too quick so she didn't shoot in time, and then he gets on his horse. The best thing to do is just Alt F4. Get rid of the game, load it back up again, and load a save. Because that's just a pain in the ass to kill him on the horse. It's going to lose a lot of time. Load your save, come back here, and then try it again. Because you're in that cutscene, you can't just press escape or inventory or F6 and load the game. You can't do that. You have to Alt F4 it because you're just sitting there watching a cutscene and you're stuck. So here's what a successful fast attempt would look like. Sprint and dive, and then I hold forward and then press grenade launcher. Take a few steps this way, shoot towards the ledge, and move forward into the tile. It just goes just like that. So during this cutscene, after we hit him with the grenade, we can actually press 1, and that'll make Lara put away the grenade launcher and pull out her dual pistols. We're going to kill him with those. And so we can start shooting at him, but there's a neat trick we can do. Because of the way damage is calculated on these guys, if we look away and then look back so we get both pistols shooting him out of sync, this actually does more damage than if the pistols were in sync. This is a really weird thing to think about, but it's just the way the damage is done on these guys. It's kind of weird. The fastest way really to kill them would probably be with the Uzis out of sync, because it's doing more damage because there's more bullets. It's a weird way it works. I don't fully understand it, but if you get them out of sync, it's going to do some more damage. You could even use manual aim if you go into the pause menu options, manual, and then bam, like this. That'll be even more shots, which would do more damage, but you have to manually aim at him. And that can really lead to some messy, annoying situations where he doesn't target you or the manual aim doesn't work right. So it doesn't seem like a viable strat, but that also works. So don't forget to pick up the horseman's gem that he drops when he dies. And so when he dies, you can crouch back through here and then get out of here. And now we're just going to come over to the ladder and climb up. And then when you're 2 away from being able to climb up, do a backflip twist. And then do a couple running jumps over to here. And go to this pillar where we have to put the horseman's gem in here. And now there are 2 of these library guys on us. And so here you'll probably be using a large med. When you get low, you're going to want to use a large med here. And then hope they don't hit you much on this chain. So this is a really tricky part because of how much damage these guys do. They really are a pain, and it's really RNG if you get a decent thing or not. So again, you're gonna use your large first, and then when you pull this chain, it's gonna give you a camera like this, and then it's like, oh shit, what's going on? And it turns out you're actually still getting attacked during that camera. So when you go pull this chain, you're gonna want to spam look like we've done for things in the past. So then the camera gets canceled, and then now we can see what we're doing. So then we can back hop and then jump over this way, and then head over back to this pole to get out. Like I said, this is really RNG based because these guys can do a lot of damage and they're very crazy sometimes. So just make sure you have your hand over the med key. When you get low, use a large, and then after that, use a small if you need another. Here I got some pretty good luck. And then we want to head to this pole and climb up it. But there's a different sequence we can do if we want. When leaving, I usually jump right here in the middle of this white tile. And when I jump, I do a twist, and so I'll land right here in front of the pole, and then I can do the jump up with the backwards momentum, and then climb up and leave. So I'd recommend saving around here in case I did some surprising burst damage that you weren't able to heal in time for. But again, just get ready with the med kit. Here we got pretty unlucky because they pushed me around. Heal, press look, and then get out of here. Turn, and then jump in the middle of this tile or a little before with a twist. And then jump and grab, and then 1, 2, 3 climbs on the pole and backflip twist. And then wait, because again, the pole breaks your action. So again, climb, backflip twist, hold flare. Once she pulls it out, you're good. And then 180 degree turn, fall down this way, and then sprint over to here, and now we have these chains. If you're low on health like I am here, you might want to make sure that you heal as well with a small. You're likely having to use some meds in this level, and the meds I said in the item routing recap are like maybe suggested what we would hopefully get. You can get less meds than that or have to use more. So that's just the hope around there, because this level can be rough with meds. But now we have these chains, and so we want to watch these. The best time to run in, because what we're trying to go over this way, off to the left, and into this room here. So when you get down here, after you flare cancel, you want to get down and then stop, and then start running as soon as that chain leaves. And then you can run around like this. So get right around here, and then when that chain starts swinging away, so when it's in its peak, start running, and then you'll run through it as it swings away, and then you can stick to the right of the second chain. So get here, wait, start sprinting, stick to the right, and make a wide turnaround, and you can avoid the chains. You can also hit it at a different timing, where this first chain has gone to the right, and it's about to come back, but not quite yet, like now. And then you can stick to the left, but that's a little tougher, tighter, and you might get hit more. So now in a full sequence like this, pull a flare, and then we're actually going to have to watch out for the library dude down here because we don't kill him in a run. Come this way, pause, and then run when it looks good. And that time I ran just a tad early, so I got a little bit of damage on the second chain, but that's not a big deal. Open up this trapdoor and then fall in while turning right, and then swim and turn all the way around and go into this room here and swim straight. And we're going to pick up more of those star things. So surface here, and go over and use a crowbar on this. And then head over to here and use it on this one. And now this will actually break our action. So if I instantly hold right and turn and run into the water, our action, it will actually be broken now. So you're gonna get kind of a bit of a surprise when you try and get out of here. We're gonna go back the same way we came. And I'll show you what happens. You go to surface, and then you come up to try and pull up. Can't really see that well because of the trapdoor, but I'm holding action, trying to pull up, but she won't because, well, her action is broken. So you're not going to be able to get out of the water, so you really get trolled. Now, a lot of people think you're just kind of stuck when this happens, but it's actually an easy fix. It just wastes time. If you swim underwater and then sit still, just like when you sit still for a frame or something after pushing a lever, something like that, then it'll fix. Then you can climb on out like this. So to avoid, just make sure you can draw guns before you start moving, and then get into the water. And swim all the way back this way like we did. Just remember, if you do accidentally break your action in water, just dive underwater, sit still for a second, and then try and get back up and leave. So again, there's a couple ways to do the exit. We can actually try and look at the right chain instead of the one in front of us. I mean, the one in front of us matters, but when this one is on its backswing and it's coming back towards us, this chain to the right of us is actually going away. So you can see if we sprint as soon as the chain is leaving right in front of us, this first one, we're actually going to hit the second one. So if I sprint like right now, we're going to hit that chain. So we want to stop and wait, and we don't want to run when that second chain is starting to swing away, which is when this first chain is starting to swing back towards us. So we want to wait for it to start swinging towards us. So basically around when it's on its backswing, like about now. And then we can sprint this way, so we avoid the second chain by going to the right, and we avoid the last chain by squeezing in to the left. Although we can do it a different way, by squeezing to the left of the second chain instead of the right, and squeezing to the right of the third chain. This timing would be basically as soon as this first chain in front of us gets out of the way, that's when the second chain is to the right. So as soon as it moves out of the way, like now, we can sprint to the left of this one and to the right of this chain and sprint all the way this way. So choose whatever feels best to you, practice it, figure out the timing well, get a hold of it, and figure out which one you want to do. Or both. Maybe if you hit one timing better than the other one, you can go, okay, I'm going to do this one in the moment. And keep in mind, in a run, you're going to have this dude on you, so that's going to be kind of annoying. But yeah, just figure out what's going to work well for you and go for that one. And then after you make the turns, you want to dive and dive again up these stairs and head this way. So now we're going to be heading back to the room at the start. We're going to want to pull a flare and sprint a little, but then turn and then use it to cancel down here and go over to this pole here. The best way to do this flare cancel is to turn as much left as you can and then do the flare cancel and then sprint to the right around this corner and stop at this pole on its left side here, ready to jump up and climb it. Alternatively, you could also not use a flare here if there's some other place that is later in the game that I skip a flare, which is a lot easier to just use one. You can just do it like that, where you fake grab and roll and go this way. So now we're at the climb with the cogs. So normally, what I do in a run, as long as I'm okay on meds, I know the med count in my head, how many I need, how many I've used, if I've used more than I have to, stuff like that, and if I'm low on health or not. A lot of times I'll just run up to this pole and then just jump and grab without any regard for where the spinning blades are. So before I show the strat all-in-one at the right timings to climb up and get out of here with minimal health loss, let me go through it one step at a time. So there's these alcoves, as you can see, going up, and we're going to use those to our advantage to backflip off of the pole and climb up faster. And at this first one, we actually have to jump, grab, and then climb up one to backflip up successfully. If we don't climb up one, we're just going to bonk. But then after we climb up the pole and backflip off, remember, poles break your action. So if you instantly jump forward again to grab it, she's actually not going to grab. So like right here, I'm pressing action, but she's not grabbing because action was broken because I just jumped off a pole. So when you're doing this and you're doing the backflip off and jumping on the pole, you need to wait. So climb up, backflip off, wait a second, and then jump. And then jump, backflip off, wait a second, then jump and grab. Now also when you're doing this, just because of your angle, where you're facing, and how you jump, you can also just entirely miss the pole. So if maybe you got slightly angled off, you might go like that, and then you'll miss the pole. Then you're in a weird spot that you're not supposed to be, then you're like, oh shoot, and you're trying to line it up, so that also becomes a mess. So it's my recommendation when you're doing this to jump, and when you jump and backflip off the pole, take this second where you have to wait to go over, press F5 or whatever your save key is that you mapped it to, and save the game, and then jump and go do the next one, wait a second, save the game again, and then go do the next one, something like that. A lot of things can go wrong in this climb, and that's how it's gonna go. So again, the very first one, you need to climb once and backflip. And then the next ones, you can just jump and then backflip off instantly, jump, backflip off instantly, and on the last one, you want to twist and then turn all the way this way and sprint out of the room. So normally when I run this way and do this, I just jump and climb the pole. I have no regard for where the spinning blades are, and as I get low, I'll just use a small med like this, and then hope it goes alright. But like I said, if I am starving for meds and I haven't been doing good with meds, I will do it a safe way. So when I am really low on meds, I'm not doing well, I need to try and save my health here, but I still want to go fast. This isn't like the best save all your health, you're never gonna die situation. This loses about half health, but if you just do it randomly, you can hit the cogs bad and lose more than full health, and you definitely have to use a med most of the time. But this will do maybe a little more than half health, and so I just do this as still very quick, but saving some health and hopefully saving a med. So when the middle of the cog reaches about there, that is when I will jump and grab, so it's gonna look like this. Jump, grab, one up, backflip, and then jump and grab instantly, backflip, and then we need to wait for this one to hit here. And then we can jump and backflip off. And that was a little less health than sometimes I've gotten before, but it's done a little over half damage. I've had it do exactly half, or a little less than half. It varies, but that's the best that I found climbing up. That will still be quite consistent in terms of decent health loss. So this is where the idea of 2 smalls and 1 large comes into play in this level that I went over in the item routing recap. Like I showed, we used 1 large at those guys back there when we pulled that chain. Sometimes you take more damage, might need a small, and so depending on what happens and everything there, if you avoid the chains, you'll get here, usually either with some damage taken, only a large used, or maybe you're about full health and you used a large and a small. So then when you climb up this pole, you might need to use 1 small or 2, and so on average, that's where you're getting the 1 large and 2 small uses in this level. No matter your health, after you get out of here, you can get out of this cog room with a sliver of health. You should be fine for the rest of the level until you hit another loading screen and that replenishes your health. So to go over what I normally do without the safe strat, is come down here, get a little sprint in, and get exactly to this side of it, and then climb up, heal when I have to, and then do the jumps and like this with the pauses, of course, very important. I had to heal again there, and then get out with a twist and sprint all the way out this way back into the main room. So after sprinting out, you want to dive this way and head over to this far left door and open it up. And now we have an extra med. If you're really low on meds and you're starving for meds and you're like, oh shoot, this is going bad, there's this vase here with a small med underneath it. Right here. This is not a part of the med routing, so I won't pick it up, but it is important. If you need a med, there's a small, not too far out of the way. Now we sprint into here, and we get to the dreaded and also loved, infamous planet puzzle room. Okay, I'm going to start by showing this diagram I made, which shows exactly which planet goes where, and also a numbering for the order that we do them for it to be the fastest. And so I'm not going to sit here and explain how to do the planet puzzle. Basically, I have this diagram that you can go off of, and I'm just going to show the video of me doing it optimally. You can also just look at a speed run. But I'm just going to speed up the video, and you can watch through it, look at this diagram, whatever you want, and just do exactly what I do. It's just pushing blocks around. So I'm going to speed through that video here, and I will put this diagram down in the corner to look at while it goes. So now that we finally finished this puzzle, we can standing jump over and then sprint this way, pull out our guns and shoot this face here and then dive at it. And this is a large med we can pick up, and then sprint this way and then dive up this little ledge and then turn and sprint down this hallway. Try not to get stuck over to this puzzle. Now this puzzle, every time you pull one lever, it's going to activate and flip the two it's connected to, as you can see. So what is the most optimal way to do this puzzle? Because every time you flip one, you're going to be affecting two others, so this is quite tough. So it's actually a very, very, very tricky, tough, crazy hard solution to figure out. If you pull every single lever once, you've done it. So yeah, it's as easy as that, but the only thing you should really watch out for is this tile right here with the pentagram on it, whatever. This acts as a reset button, so if you step over that, that's going to reset all the fire back to nothing. So don't think, oh, I can sprint and dive over this tile and head over to the other one faster, because that idiot speedrunner keeps going wide around it. Like, what the hell is wrong with him? You know how much time that's losing? It's losing like a fraction of a second. No, it resets the whole puzzle. That's gonna fuck you over. So if you do that, oh, that's gonna be a pain, big time loss. Okay, so pull this and sprint this way, and then just jump up and standing jump and jump onto this left side so you can turn and grab this ledge and pull up. And from here, just do a running jump and then turn all the way to the right, another running jump, another one, and then turn back to the left, and then sprint, and sprint, 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 and dive, and then sprint down over to here, and right to the here is a door, and open it up. And then we're going to go to the left and over to here, and now we have the biggest skip in the level, which is the balcony jump. So there's a lot more stuff the game wants us to do in this nasty level, but we can actually skip it by doing a swan dive over this balcony ledge and over that one over to that chain. And we can actually do it back as well to save some time and then go finish up what we need to do in this level. But this is going to be a bit of a difficult jump. So there's this kind of setup, which is like a setup, but also not a setup. So you can come and go up to this corner here, and we're going to be getting this camera out to the side most of the time because all of these tiles on the balcony have this camera trigger. So the camera's going to be a bit annoying. But if we get up into this corner and then we kind of turn so we're facing to the right towards the wall, then we can sidestep with walk and left, or the actual sidestep button. We're not getting it here, so let's turn a little more. And then as you can see, when we sidestep, she turns into the wall. So she's turning into the corner like this. And so you want to turn, face the wall to the right. So when you press sidestep, she turns, and sidestep till she stops turning. And now this is our position. This is not consistent. Okay, this is not a consistent setup. So after you turn into the wall, you're gonna get some angle, which is kind of in a range that normally happens. So then after you get that and no more sidestepping left, it will change your angle anymore. Now back hop twice. And now you're going to be in a position like this, where you're some distance away from the wall with this angle, and then sidestep again. And the first outcome is that your first sidestep will hit the wall. There's one of two outcomes here. Either your first sidestep will hit the wall, or you have to do two sidesteps to hit the wall. So let's go over the first outcome. The first outcome is the more common one, but is also the harder one. So this took us one sidestep to hit the wall. And so now that means we have to turn and aim towards that chain in the balcony and look for a visual to get it right. So you can see when I'm turning and I press and hold look, I'm seeing it right here. If we turn too far to the right, we're going to get wider and wider and look more out open into the room. So we're actually going to look for a visual where the right side of our camera is about here. So with it right there, we want to keep tapping and turning that direction till we're starting to get, and now, boom, there it is. So right where that line is, our camera is just slightly to the right of it, so it kind of lines up with that line below. This will definitely work. So I would always save in case it doesn't work, so I'd be here and then I would save the game and then just do a running swan dive jump. There is usually some leniency to this setup and then the visual that you have. So if you turn, and now this is more on that line, and so I'm a little more facing left than I was before. You can hopefully tell. This might now bonk on this wall, or it might still make it. It's a little lenient, but it also changes because, again, the position and angle you actually get from the sidestep into the wall is always different, slightly. So on this one, I do bonk. I was facing too far left. So let's see if I can get that second setup. Come up to the wall, sidestep left, 2 back hops, sidestep, sidestep. That actually took 2. You can see I finished the first animation, and then it barely took another one to get to the wall. Sometimes it takes like 1.5. Again, it's always different. So this time I did get 2 sidesteps into the wall. The first one didn't actually get me fully against the wall. It was hard to tell. So then here there's actually a setup. You can crouch, don't press forward, just duck, and then get 1 turn right and then get up. This will give you the angle to jump and swan dive. But again, that outcome only happens if you get the 2 sidesteps into the wall. So again, let's look at this. Set up, sidesteps against the wall, back hop twice, hold sidestep. That one only took 1. You could see it stopped her animation. She did not finish the 1 sidestep. That put her against the wall. And now we have to try and look and find the visual. About there. And swan dive. So you may be thinking, that's really weird. It doesn't really look that different. Shouldn't the setup just work? So let's do this. And then that only took 1 sidestep. Let's just do the crouch because, come on, they're close enough. Why would that change anything? Do the setup, swan dive, and we don't make it. So there are 2 outcomes. You have to watch what you're doing and make sure you know what you are going to have to do, what outcome you get, and what goes with what. So that was 1 sidestep, so we can't do the crouch thing, even though I pressed it. Don't do that if you get the 1 sidestep outcome. And then look, and sometimes it can be hard to find the visual. You're going in between ones, and there we go. That's pretty close to the line, and this will work. And now after we land over here, we can turn to the right and then go and pull this chain like this. And we can press look to cancel the camera. And then now we want to do another jump, another swan dive back to where we were. So now going back, we actually can get stuck on the balcony. So there's a seam between the 2 balconies. And so you can see I'm running against this balcony like this. And if I run this way to the right, it's a little weird with the camera, but if you run to the right, she'll get stuck. She'll get stuck in between the seam of these 2 balconies and she'll run forward. So now she gets so stuck that actually the camera angle will change on us based on if we're going more to the right like this or more to the left like this. So this camera angle changes. So what we can do is use that to our advantage. As we're stuck on this balcony, we can keep tapping right. And as soon as the camera angle changes, tap, 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 boom. Camera angle changed. We can tap back to the left and then stop. So you want to have the camera where it's facing Laura's face and at that exact point. So if we could tap more to the right, that's not good, which we could get little taps in there. So if it's facing the back of her, then tap back to the left and then boom. This is that perfect angle. Just try and tap very little so you're only getting a couple frames or 1 frame of turning until you get this perfect angle. And then you can back hop and then you can back up against this wall. And now we have to do some pause buffering. We went over pause buffering back in Semerket. So if you missed what I talked about, again, I went over a little more depth in Semerket when I showed a potential setup for a banana jump. So now we're going to pause buffer. You're going to hold P for the pause and then hold what button you need to buffer. So here we need 2 frames of input on left. So this is a good angle, but we need to turn just slightly more left to make the swan dive. So we're going to then hold left and then we're going to hit the escape key, which will close the pause buffer. the pause inventory and then buffer our left input. So we're going to press inventory twice to get 2 buffers. 1, 2. And let go of everything, escape out of the pause menu, and now, guess what? It's just a simple swan dive forward, like this. And we're back to where we came, and we can sprint and go around. So this is some of the hardest kind of setup and jumps in the game, especially with the visual outcome that you get. It's very, very difficult to get used to. So let me just show it all in one. Sprint here, and then get against this corner and sidestep. And this time I got the 1 sidestep outcome, so I have to do the visual approach. So there, that looks good. I can run and swan dive, and then turn and do this. And then now I'm gonna spam look to cancel that camera, and I'm gonna run into here and keep going left until camera changes the other way, pause buffer, and swan dive. And that's how I would do it in a full run. Also with some safety saves in there to be safe, probably. So after all that, you want to sprint this way, turn and sprint this way. I like to use look to kind of see where I'm going better because this camera sucks. Dive and then sprint over this way, and sprint all the way to the last door and open this one. And then we can do a running jump and then turn to the left and sprint over to grab this artifact. And now this is the only place where you might take damage. Remember when I said that you could be a sliver of health after the spinning wheels of death? Well, yeah. You might take damage on the fire spirit, and if you get hit too many times, you'll just catch on fire. But we're very close to the end of the level, so hopefully you don't get hit. I've never really been hit in a run. So we're going to want to watch this fire spirit. I mean, there's not much you can really do, but it spawns as soon as you come into the room, and then grab the artifact. But the thing is, if you start moving right away, that breaks your action. So if you're fast enough, you can do a running jump, turn and sprint at the artifact, grab it quick, and then wait a second and draw guns, and then backflip twist, and you'll get out of the way right before the fire spirit gets you. And then you can come out like this, grab a flare, flare cancel, and then sprint over through these doors you opened, and this heads into the Hall of Demetrius. Now for the auto splitter, you can see we only have a lost library split, no Hall of Demetrius. This level is very short. It's less than a minute. And we get out of here, go right back in the lost library again. And then we have to go through lost library and head back into the coastal ruins area and Temple of Poseidon again. We go through the levels, it's all a mess. And so that gets all chunked into the lost library split and Pharos, Temple of Isis. So that's just what the auto splitter does. So from here, when we're in Hall of Demetrius, we can turn to the right and sprint this way. Stop sprinting to make the left turn. And then sprint, 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 and then dive and jump over this lamp. And then sprint up this ramp. Do a 180-degree turn. And then sprint this way over and pick up this artifact. Again, this breaks your action. So wait, draw a flare. And then sprint down over here and flare cancel. And sprint right back where we came. Over to here to the left and back in the lost library again. And then now there's some fire spirits which can again catch you on fire if they hit you too many times, but we just want to get out of here, so sprint dive and sprint around up over to here where we initially entered the level quite some time ago. Crouch and get out of here and sprint back to the left, and this brings us back into the Temple of Poseidon. This should be when the lost library split happens. And so then we can hold up and right and crouch into here and then go to this left corner, and you can get 2 turns in about and then fall down. And then turn to the left here and then sprint, stop sprinting to make the turn and sprint again this way. Dive, pull a flare, jump, and then sprint down into this hole, which is the button that we used back all the way at the end of Temple of Poseidon. That opened up that room to get out of Temple of Poseidon, which we are now using now, to get back into coastal ruins. So just follow that tunnel and the path that I took, and then go to the left here and climb up this ladder. And then when you climb up this ladder, there is this gate here, and then we can run to the left side of the gate, where you can use a crowbar and open it on the left side. So after we open this door, we want to run this way, and then we're going to turn to the right and we're going to jump at the corner here over to that rock. So we're gonna try and avoid the water for now and jump over here like this, so we land on the rock and we're not swimming yet. And then there's that rock right there we can jump on. So after we land, we can turn and jump over to here, and then jump off this rock, and that'll give us a nice quick sequence without getting into the kind of annoying water. So this would be the full sequence with a sprint, and then jump, and then curve to the right to jump to the next one, and then jump into the water. And now we're going to swim over this way to the right, and then turn to the left and head into this cave. And this will bring us to the Pharos Temple of Isis level. So we're going to keep swimming this way, and swim down into here. Now this is the big underwater area, and this is where the hammerhead shark in the game is. He spawns off to the right over there. There he is. But we can just ignore him, and we're going to swim up over to here. Get out and climb up out of the water, and now we're just going to put our things that we picked up in Lost Library into here. Backflip twist, and go jump into the water. And then we can swim over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, backflip twist. Jump into the water. And now swim down. And swim into this area that just opened up, and then climb up out of the water over to the left here. And then we can sprint and then jump over this corner here. If you try and sprint through the corner, you're gonna get into the water. And then dive and fall down this hole. And then go to this right door and open this one. Sometimes it can be a little iffy. And then swim over here and get up out of the water. Now we're gonna sprint and go off to this left area. And sprint this way. And then sprint to the right and then dive. And then we're gonna head off to the left. We'll sprint over to here, can dive again. And then you can climb up this block here. Now we're gonna pull these scarabs out of the wall, and this will break her action, but we can just hold flare. And as soon as she pulls out the flare, we're going to turn and backflip twist, and land and flare cancel, and then sprint over to the other side and do the exact same thing onto this pillar. So again, we're gonna go up here, grab the beetle, and then hold flare, and this time we're gonna turn more left, like this, flare cancel, and then sprint this way and jump onto this block and then side flip. And we can go and climb up here, and we're just going to tap forward and push this button. Backflip twist and hold roll to fall off these blocks, and then jump onto this block, and then just do standing jumps up and grab. And then again, just tap forward and push this button. Now from here, there's this interesting sequence that we can do, and it's gonna look something like this. And there's some bit of a pain that can happen with this sequence. It's easy to mess up and break the flare cancel and stuff like that. First of all, if you didn't get hit by the hammerhead shark and you have really good health like this, you can actually backflip down here and then draw a flare earlier, and then just roll off and fake grab like this and take the really long fall. You take a lot of damage, but it should be fine. It's just a little risky. Instead, if you jump about a little before this line right here, so you jump in the middle of these tiles, you can land over here near the edge of the drop down, and then roll off, and then land here so you can roll off again. To avoid the flare cancel breaking, you'll want to pull the flare well in the air, so jump twist and then pull the flare, and then roll off, and then cancel. You can see if I pull it earlier, like right here before jumping, and then I jump and twist and try and do it, then the flare cancel breaks and I get stuck for a second. So again, the sequence, backflip twist, jump about halfway between these tiles and twist and pull a flare, and land down here, roll off flare cancel, and run over to here and jump up and climb on this slope. Jump off of it and then go over and grab this little thing here. And then go over here and push this button. Once you push the button, pull a flare and backflip twist, and you can go over here and jump and climb up this block. You can also do a running jump and grab like this, but it's a bit harder. Saves a tiny bit of time. And then do a running jump and then walk to the edge so we can jump and climb up here. If you jump kind of on the left side, the beetles always fall down on the right side, so you can avoid any more damage if you jump on the left. And then just backflip out and then start sprinting this way. And sprint down here and jump across the water. And then we're going to sprint over this way and we're going to head into Cleopatra's palaces. Now here, on this first tile, this will show us a little flyby of the room. So to save time, we're going to want to jump right before we hit that first tile, so then we can get farther into the room. And so it's going to look something like this, where we just jump, and then we'll land much farther into the room, and then we'll get our flyby here. So after the flyby, we can sprint this way, and dive, and then we can jump onto the slope and turn to the left and backflip twist up, and do a running jump, and come and open this door with the crowbar. And then we can sprint in and sprint to the right here, and we have to open another door right here. Now this next room is going to be the first of a few in this area. We're just going to want to sprint down and land on the slope, and then we'll want to jump near the end of the slope and go to the left. Now that we're in this room, you can see the fire off to the left. When that fire reaches this, I think it's like oil, I guess, it'll catch on fire. And you can see now it's all on fire, so you want to rush and get over to here fast. Now it's not the end of the world if you get caught in the fire, so if I fall in here, I'm gonna catch on fire and take damage, but then when I get out, look, I'm not on fire anymore. It doesn't permanently put you on fire, unless you're in there a while, I think. So it's not the end of the world if you get caught, but you don't want to be in there. You don't want to have to use a med for no reason. So then we can come up to this beetle here and use our crowbar again to get the beetle out. Now this will break our action, so just draw your guns to make sure. And then you want to move forward, and then so you can turn and back hop to the corner. And then you can backflip twist and land around here somewhere. It's a good sequence to then be able to jump and get into this alcove, which is tough to get in because, I mean, look at the ceiling. My head is basically touching it. It's a very weird geometry to deal with. From here, you can also just back hop and turn and then barely not fall off if you do it right. There, I messed up. So let's try that again. We can turn and then back hop and then get right on the edge and then backflip twist and jump and try and get in there. But again, this is a tough sequence. You don't want to fall in the fire, so I recommend saving, maybe taking it a little slower. So my best advice would be to get the beetle, draw your guns, move forward and turn and then back hop and backflip twist. Then you can land here, and then you can just try and jump into here. In a run, I would do it a little faster than that, but you know, it's the same idea. So something like this, and then you can climb up, and then just jump up here, and jump up. And if you have a good amount of health, you can draw a flare and do a running jump and take this long fall, takes a lot of damage, and then sprint, turn out of here like this. And then we're going to want to turn right and go into this right area, dive up these steps, and then sprint into here and pull out the grenade. Then you can slow down and shoot the skeleton that spawns, because he's really annoying if you don't kill him. Put the grenade away and go in this tunnel down here, and then again jump at the end of a slope, and we've got another room like this. So this one's a little easier, just wade forward through this oily water, and then climb up and out. And we're going to pick up this beetle right here. Again, it breaks your actions, so make sure you pull guns or something. And then sprint out this way, and then just jump into the alcove here. And then you can do jump twists up here. It's a little easier to get out of here without having problems if you jump twist. So if I just normally jump up like this, I'm going to move closer and closer, and then it can be a little bit more difficult to get standing jumps up. If we do jump twists instead, this is actually going to be a lot easier, and then we can get all the way up to the top and then side flip out the top one, and then move on to the next one like this. Again, dive, and then go down the slope and jump at the end, and again, this is the exact same thing, just wade forward in the water, and get up, and we're going to grab another beetle. And we're going to use all these beetles we collected to get the golden wind-up mechanical beetle thing. Get this, again, guns, it breaks your action, jump up here, do a bit of sprinting, and then jump again into this alcove here, and then do jump twists, makes it easier, and then jump forward. Now you have to put these black beetles in these slots, and this will eventually open it up for us. And there are usually harpies attacking us here. You can hear them in the background, but they're not attacking me at the moment. Oh, there's one of them. Typically, we use a small man in this level, like I have in the routing, because you usually get poisoned here. There's a lot of times it's 2 harpies attacking you, and they'll come and poison you while you're playing these. Just like that, I got poisoned. And so remember, you're gonna have to use a small med here, but if you get poisoned, do not heal yourself right away because you can get poisoned again. So just keep the poison, keep the wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey mess on the screen for now, and make sure to grab this scarab. There are many times I've actually put in all the black scarabs and then just ran away and left, and I had to come all the way back and pick up this one. So make sure after you put the last one in, get in here and then pick up this scarab, and then back hop, and then sprint out and leave. And once you're away from the harpies enough, use a small med pack, heal the poison away, and then sprint this way. And we're going to be heading back to Cleopatra's palaces. And this is when the auto splitter should split, and your Cleopatra's palaces time should be going. And then we can sprint in here, and dive and jump up. And now we're going to go over here and combine the scarab that we just got with our little mechanical wind-up piece. So we have to do some inventory. So it's going to put us on the crossbow because that's the last thing we used, and so that means luckily the winding key is just one thing to the right for us, and then we can go down to combine, and it's going to go onto the crossbow, which is stupid and annoying, so you have to hit to the right or left, and then we can pick the mechanical scarab, combine with, and now we have mechanical scarab with key. Oh, what a good name. So the best inventorying here will just be like other ones we've done like this. Go to the right, combine right again, and then just spam action to use it. And so we want to use it on these little beetle-y tiles with the hole in them, because they'll go to the hole and rush through and activate these spikes. There's no way past these without glitching, without using the beetle here. Important small tip that you might not get when you're first doing it. You want to put the beetle down with you back here behind the black hole. The beetle is going to try and path to that black hole, and then it's also going to turn so it's facing towards the spikes where it wants to go. If I go this way and turn the other way, and then I use the beetle like this, we're gonna see me actually lose a lot of time compared to what I did there, because it moves to the black hole, but then it has to do a 180-degree turn and then start moving. If you get a really bad one, it can actually lose you a good chunk of time. So like right here, I put it down. Now it's gonna turn entirely around, gonna go all the way to the middle, and look, it's facing the opposite ways. It's in the middle, so it turns all the way back around again. This is seconds and seconds lost over nothing. Just a little beetle on the floor taking its sweet time. We can see how fast it is compared to doing it behind the beetle, like right here. You don't have to be perfect or anything. You can get an optimal beetle placement where he's facing kind of straight forward already and he's right on the dot almost. But look how much faster that was, just making sure that we placed it facing where he wants to go and behind the black dot. It's that easy, so just make sure you try and place it like that and you'll get easy few second time save on every beetle placement. So after he goes off, you can go over the spikes and jump and then land and pick him up. We're always going to want to pick him up. Weird shenanigans happen if you don't pick him up. And then sprint over to here and pick up some armor. I just like to back hop, turn, and then go forward when the blades are open. And we can turn and go this way. And then we can jump about middle of this tile and then land right here, again, behind that black dot, and use the mechanical scarab. But now when we use this, we get attacked by skeletons. So we're going to want to go in the inventory, and this will be the first time we use explosive crossbow ammo. So we're going to go to the right in the inventory to the crossbow, go down to choose ammo, and then crossbow explosive is the last one. So we have to go right twice, or down twice, down or right work. So right or down twice. like this, or with right, both work, and then hit action, and then action again to equip, and then you can turn around and blow those bastards to hell. So good optimal inventorying would look like this: inventory to the right, and then just start spamming buttons, and then shoot them so they both die, and turn back around, and then jump and pick up the scarab. And we're actually going to climb up to the left side here, and head over to this way to the left, and pick up some more armor. And then from this armor pickup, I like to backflip twist, and then run through here and pull a flare, and then dive roll and grab over here and flare cancel. And we jump right over that plant. This plant is named Focus. So after we dive past Focus, the plant, and flare cancel, we can sprint this way, pull out our guns, and then we want to try and shoot both of those boxes right there. When we're on this just like one click lower tiles right here, we can actually shoot those boxes. Here we can't, but if we're down here, we can shoot them. So the optimal sequence would actually be to dive over these to cut the corner, and then turn, and then spam to shoot both of them, and then pick up both the items in these. I find it easier to sprint and go wide around and then turn, so then you can more easily line it up and shoot both of them, but whatever is most comfortable. Again, we'll want to pick both of these up. It's explosive ammo and a large med, pretty important. And then we can open up this and get some more armor. And then backflip twist, and then sprint over this way, and we'll have to kill this harpy. This harpy can be really bad if we leave him alive. So 2 shots of the crossbow explosive, and backflip twist, and head this way. Jump over to here, and then put our Pharos knot into here to open up this door. Now this next part, we actually get a med that we have to use, so it doesn't lose time to pick up the med, because we have to pick it up right here to activate the weird Golden Lara clone thingy. After that, we can just do a standing jump to get over to here, and then sprint this way to go climb up here like this. Now, remember when I said that the scarab did really weird things if you didn't pick it up? You might think it's a waste of a couple seconds to pick it up the last time we use it. Well, it actually messes with what monkey bars do and what you can grab. So if we leave it back there, we actually cannot grab these monkey bars. It'll just kind of look like this when you try and grab. So that's why we don't leave the scarab. But at least here, we can do a running jump and grab because we picked up the scarab so she can grab monkey bars, and then we will swing across. And then we want to come to this left side and come right to this corner. And we actually will get a trigger skip, but also save some time by climbing up there by doing a jump and grabbing that ledge. So just make sure you're in the corner with an angle, and then jump and grab and get up. And then you can get a little sprint in if you want, and then jump over to this side, and then sprint over to this alcove and get up. Now there's going to be a harpy up here, so we're going to want to pull out the crossbow and then jump over to the middle here, and then again 2 shots to kill it. Don't miss one like that. So it's a bit better if you don't miss. It's kind of tight on the crossbow ammo, so come and then take 2 to kill him. Try not to miss one, that would be nice. And then we can jump and grab the lever. There is a strat where you can shoot early and get a shot in on him really early, but it's easy to miss, and I won't recommend it unless you practice it like that. But that's up to you. So again, then just jump at the edge of the ledge here. You can just do a standing jump with action, and then you can grab this lever here. And then roll, pull out the crossbow again, and shoot this harpy down here. That will also mess with you if you don't shoot him. And then sprint back this way and climb back up. This time, we're going to want to flare cancel, so pull a flare, and you can actually do a running jump and grab the lever if you want, and then flare cancel, and turn to the right and sprint back up like this. Or if you don't like the running jump, you can stop and do a standing jump like I did on the other side, and then you can still flare cancel. Just be careful with the running jumps. You can jump too late, and then she won't grab, and you'll go over here, or at worst, you'll let go on accident, and then you'll fake grab all the way down to the bottom and die or something. So make sure to jump not too late, but not too early, and then you can grab, and then flare cancel and climb all the way back up another time. This time we can sprint up here, and we're gonna want to jump to the left and cut this corner over to here, into this little alcove that we opened. And then turn around, and we're gonna go to the exact other alcove and do the same exact thing again. There's a skeleton here, which is a bit annoying, but we can kind of skip him by just getting around him like this. And grabbing this piece. And then now we have a hard jump. We have to do kind of the corner cut again, but with skeletons on us, and we have to jump like this over to here with this horrible camera and bad angle and skeletons on us. So I would definitely recommend a save here, since it's easy to hit this wall and then you kind of miss the ledge and you'll fall and die. It's definitely the fastest way to the next part to do this jump, but if you're gonna fail it a lot, maybe don't go for it. Instead, you could just straight jump to the center, whatever is most comfortable, and then just turn and jump over to here. And then we're gonna have to do another combining thing. So this time when we combine, we'll want to go to the left until we find the Athor effigy. We have to combine it with the ornate handle here. So we're gonna want to go left in the inventory over this way to the effigy. If instead we went to the right, we have to go through all this stuff and the meds and everything, and even the key, the scarab with key to this. So it's a little quicker to go to the left and then combine, and again move from the crossbow to the ornate handle, combine with, and then use it on this little pole thingy. And that'll open up this door for us to run through and leave, and then just turn and then sprint this way, and this will trigger this nice little cutscene. So after Lara sits on the throne, these people come out, and only the left guy is active at the moment. Oh, I'm dead. So after Lara sits on the throne, these weird guardians come out, and only the left one is active at the start. As we can see to the right, this guy over here, he's kind of a frozen statue. He'll activate when the other one dies, so don't kill him. So just come over this side, grab the armor, and then sprint over to here and go to the other side and grab the last piece of armor, and that'll open up the exit for us to just leave. Usually when we're over here is when we take damage. I'll have to use a med this level. You might have to as well in runs. And then just pull a flare, and then flare cancel down here and jump here to the end of the level. And that will bring us to Cairo. So Leaving Alexandria % is done. We did what's in the title. We did leave Alexandria. So that will bring us to Cairo, one of my favorite areas. So I hope you stick around to watch the Cairo % tutorial. Not as many people love it, so you might not enjoy it as much as me, but thank you so much for watching.